It's the Locked On Flyers podcast for Wednesday, May 8th, your daily dose of Flyers news, analysis, and high quality content that's picking 12.
It was the lockiest of all locks.
You're Locked On Flyers, your daily podcast on the Philadelphia Flyers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey there, and thanks for making Locked On Flyers your first listen every day. I am Rachel Donner. You can find me on the app formerly known as Twitter at @rmiriam. I'm here as always with Russ Cohen, who's on all your favorite social media apps at Sportsology. We as a show are on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and Twitter at Locked On Flyers as well. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. You can find us over on YouTube. We're on the SiriusXM app or anywhere where you listen to podcasts. Subscribe to get our latest episode as soon as it's available here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Nobody moved, Russ.
Chalk. I don't know the last time that's happened, if it's ever happened. It's crazy.
I know. Like everybody was waiting for something conspiratorial to happen
Right.
and whatnot, but it did not. Nobody moved, and the Flyers will be picking at 12th overall, which is, where we assumed they would be, right?
Yeah, I kept telling people I just didn't see it happening. Of course, there's that 0.02 chance, and there's also that 0.02 chance that we'll all get hit by lightning too.
Right. 12 is my favorite number, I would say. And some of my favorite Flyers have worn the number 12. Tim Kerr, Simone Gagne amongst them.
One of my favorite athletes, Joe Namath, wore 12, so I'm partial.
Well, I was going with Flyers here, so
I get it.
You got to stick with the theme.
He's a more famous 12. Sorry.
Well, not in my eyes. Anyway, the San Jose Sharks got the first overall pick as projected. I think when you talk about, did a team deserve the pick or not deserve a pick? And I feel like it's been a while since the first overall felt deserved as much as the San Jose Sharks fan base deserved this.
Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, they had a horrible year. They just fired their coach. So this is good. And Celebrini spent a lot of time on the West Coast. We've all heard about his dad working for Golden State Warriors. So, this is nice. His family will be able to get to see him play once in a while. It's really a good setup for him. And it's a good setup for this franchise because, they have William Eklund, they have Bordeleau, they have some good young players that really can start to develop, and Celebrini can be the crown jewel. So it's nice. I think it's a good marketing tool for them.
Absolutely. And just want to send some love out to our friend JD over at Locked On Sharks, because I know this has been a long year for him and the Sharks. And he's put together a great show for his fans and for the team and everything. And so I'm sure he is elated. I look forward to watching his response video to the first overall pick. As far as the other teams and where they wound up, Utah, this will be their first pick as the now Utah team to be named later. And I think this will be good for the fans. Like, even picking 6th overall is a good spot for them.
No, it's a good spot. And look, they have a lot of high picks in their system. They're not devoid of prospects. They're not devoid of picks. So there's a lot of options for them. Like they've got possibilities there to possibly compete better than they did this year. They'll have funds. They'll actually have a team that wants to spend to the cap. Those little things, plus everything else I mentioned. So I'm happy. If you're a fan of that team, you got to be excited.
Yeah, absolutely. And, again, as somebody who used to live there, I am excited for the Utah fans. And I know there's a ton of good hockey people out there, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they do. Man, the Detroit Red Wings, like, what can you say?
It's just, they have no luck, man. No luck in the lottery. Yzerman gets nothing. They've done well with picks, but as far as where they're picking, it's just been garbage for them. It's just horrible.
Yeah, we checked in with our Locked On Red Wings friends before this past season, and they were getting into year 5 of the Iser plan, and they're still not making enough progress and, not moving up in this draft after not making the playoffs. Like that, it's gotta hurt.
It hurts. No, it's a kick you nowhere. So yeah.
Any other teams of note in where they're selecting?
I mean, the Devils picking 10th has to bother Flyers fans because they already have a load of talent. The fact that they're getting the select 10th is a big deal. And also, that pretty much kills the Flyers' chance of getting into the top 10 because there's no way the Devils will trade with them. And what, 9 is Calgary. They're going to probably go with Ginla if he's there. So they're not getting into the top 10. So you're going to pick a 12 and start just concentrating on guys who could be a 12. As far as other teams, St. Louis, yeah, not great for them. I was looking at that when the first one came off, and I was like, Uh, look, Anaheim Ducks, whether Flyers fans want to hear it or not, the future is super bright for them now. They still have a goalie in John Gibson. I don't think they're trading Trevor Zegers. I think that's a lot of talk because of just him being a holdout last year. They have Gauthier. They have McTavish. They've got Minchukov. They're starting to build that team, so they're gonna be a real threat in another year.
Who do you think has the toughest decision to make in that top 5 or 6 teams in terms of how the draft board might go?
Uh, yeah, I guess what Chicago's going 3? Is that what it is?
They're
I
going
forget who.
2, and
2,
then
sorry.
Anaheim is 3.
Anaheim's 3. They have the toughest decision.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they have the toughest decision because I still think that Demidov will go second. And if he does, then that really makes it a hard decision. There could be, well, it could be,
There's like
15 players that you have to
right,
decide from, but there's probably 5
right,
that they
exactly,
have to
exactly.
really decide on.
Yeah, it's almost easier for, like, maybe Montreal, Utah to make their picks at that point because, like, whatever Anaheim and Columbus do will help determine,
Right.
their picks.
Yeah, Montreal at 5. That's a good spot to be, actually. I think it's one of the best spots to be in this draft.
Do you think there's any chance that, like, an Ottawa or a Seattle will try and snake Ginla out from under of Calgary?
I don't think so. I think they're going to have their own look. Seattle needs defense. If they don't take defense, they've got something wrong with them. And Ottawa will be interesting because they have a little bit of everything. So, they may be a BPA situation for them.
Yeah, I think so too. Um, Cole Iserman has been a huge topic of conversation and where he might fall. What do you think? Like now that we have this locked down, where do you think he could go?
Well, I thought it was odd the way he was kind of portrayed. Like, well, there's a lot of talk about him dropping, but he had 9 goals and he is the all-time leader. And yeah, he is the all-time leader for the NTDP. I think people are nitpicking. Uh, he is going to go in the top 10. I think he's going to go higher than 10 because I think at the end of the day, some team is going to be like, look, we're dying for a goal scorer. He's the best goal scorer in this draft. We'll take that chance. So I think he's going somewhere between 6 and 10. I do.
It smells like an Ottawa pick to me,
It could
but
be. It could be.
yeah.
Yeah, because you put him with like a Tim Stutzla, and
Mhm.
now you're really talking about some high-powered offense there. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I think you're onto something.
Any other players that you wanna prognosticate where they might
No, not
fall
yet.
here?
Nah, not really.
Alright. We will get more into that on tomorrow's show as to maybe why you don't wanna make any picks. But, there's more to talk about here in terms of the broadcast and the program itself and a leak that wasn't a leak, and then looking at the 12th overall pick and the history of that for the Flyers and, around the NHL. We will do that coming up next. Buying tickets to your favorite events like the NHL and NBA playoffs shouldn't be stressful. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of the NBA, which makes getting playoff tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to tip off. With killer last minute deals, all in pricing, views from your seat, and the lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying those coveted NBA playoff seats. My favorite part of the app is that it's great for getting notified about those last minute flash deals. And Game Time lets you save even more with zone deals where you pick a section, like Game Time, choose the seat, and all in pricing. So there's no surprise fees at checkout. Your tickets are sent directly to your phone, so you never have to dig through email. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
There's no I in team, but there's one in Indeed, and that's the hiring platform you need to build yours. When you're hiring, you need Indeed. Indeed's the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Instead of spending hours on multiple job sites searching for candidates with the right skills, Indeed's a powerful hiring platform that can help you do it all. And with Instant Match, over 80% of employers get quality candidates whose resume on Indeed matches their job description the moment they sponsor a job, according to Indeed Data US. One of the things I love about Indeed is what makes hiring all in one place so easy, because we get one step closer to the hire by immediately matching with quality candidates. Even better, Indeed's the only job site where you only pay for the applications that meet your must-have requirements. Join the more than 3 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Start hiring now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/lockedon. Offer good for a limited time. Claim your $75 credit now at Indeed.com/lockedon. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
On tomorrow's show, we are going to preview the big picture for the defensemen available in the NHL draft this year. Just kind of look at the lay of the land and talk about Russ's top picks in his rankings that might go in the first round. So for the Flyers here, they've actually never picked at 12th overall before.
Interesting.
Yeah, which is really interesting. Sam Moran and Jeff Carter were picked at 11th overall, and that's really the closest that the Flyers have gotten to that 12th overall pick. So, one hit, one unfortunate injury situation there. And, I mean, Jeff Carter did have his great success elsewhere, but that's
He
no
was still
fault
good
of
as
the
a Flyer for a couple of years.
yeah.
No,
Yeah,
he
he
was.
was. And that's, it was a good pick, let's say.
Right. But it does show you
Um,
there's a risk element at 12, much more than in the top 5. So, there's more of a chance of missing here.
right. So if you look at recent 12th overall picks, I think, Noah Dobson is one of note,
Probably shouldn't have
I
been at
would
12.
say.
I ranked him as the top guy in his draft, and now he's kind of showing it just from an all-around basis. But Quinn Hughes was great too. I mean, they're both great.
Yeah, the 12th overall pick with the highest number of points ever is Marian Hossa. Also a great pick.
Yeah. He's a Hall of Famer, right? So that's
Yeah.
tremendous pick.
Yeah, Alex Tanguay, a 12th overall pick, although that was a little ways back.
Yeah.
That was 1 year after Hossa, actually.
Yeah.
But I think, you have like a mix of guys,
You
and
do.
that's really what it comes down to. So, for every Marian Hossa, there's a, you know, Pierre Jarry, who, you know,
Yep.
there is a also at 12, Mark Stahl,
Mhm.
Flyer, Max Domi, Tyler Myers, Cam Fowler, Ryan McDonough, which actually is a good pick,
Yeah,
I would
McDonough,
say.
Montreal just gave up on too soon. That was dumb.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. So, Dennis Gurianov former Flyer now, I guess. But
Not a great pick in
not a great pick.
retrospect.
But Matt Boldy, great pick.
Great pick. Yeah. Well, a lot of the things that they have in common is like what I've said is, some of them slipped a little bit. And then those teams, the good ones from the 12s took advantage.
Yeah, I think so. And so I think it's just going to be, for the Flyers, as we've talked about, putting in the work, figuring out, your draft board. And 12 is going to be a slot where there's going to be a whole lot of permutations depending on who
Yep.
picks before. And so it makes the task at hand for the team at the Flyers, like, I think pretty challenging, but also exciting.
No, it's challenging. This is one where you have to huddle up with every one of your scouts. It's not like an easy one. So you do have to put in your due diligence here.
Yeah, I think so. And it'll be a real interesting one for the Flyers. I also think that, knowing that they have that other pick in the first round is going to relieve some of the pressure on this pick, but not all of it.
Right. Yeah, it'll help a little bit. But again, historically, if you go back and look at teams that have had two picks in the first round, a lot of times they do miss on one of them because they tend to take that home run swing for the other.
Right. But which I think, in the grand scheme of things is fine. I think like it hurts for a year or two when you
Right.
realize that that guy isn't going to pan out, but I think it's worth taking some of those
Yeah, I mean,
risks
if your
in the
higher
long
one
run.
hits and you miss on the 27 or whatever, yeah, it's not going to kill you.
Talking about the Draft Lottery television program, we got to start with the leak that wasn't a leak by
Yeah, I
Future.
just don't understand it. It's like, why does everybody feel like they have to take a picture of something before it happens? Like, we already knew it went off at 5:30. Why couldn't it have just been nothing? Like, just say, hey, 5 minutes, draft lottery is happening, instead of that, which led to all kinds of conspiracy theories.
Right, and that's where I think it was a complete troll job, right? Where they put
Maybe.
like a random draft order because they had Utah moving up to 2
Right.
in that scenario, and so
But
I
who are
think
they
that
trolling? Like their own viewership? Like, I
us,
don't. No, but I
yes,
mean, but
the
that.
internet.
But like, why? What is the advantage for that?
Why does anybody troll on the internet,
Okay,
Russ?
fair. I mean, that's fair. But this
I
is
mean,
especially like this is like
it
you're
is a
doing
form
the
of entertainment for some people.
you're doing the league broadcast here though. So like why? I don't see an advantage for that.
I do not disagree with you. I'm
Yeah,
saying
yeah, I know.
that, it is Buccigross the kind of guy that would do that just for kicks? I don't
Yeah, I don't
know.
know. It's just weird. It's just we've never seen it happen before, and hopefully it doesn't happen again because I just think it was dumb.
Yeah, I think so too. As far as the program itself, yeah, it's pretty typical, boring, nothing new or interesting or different. I will say that Mike Greer is probably the most nonchalant guy ever. Like for a guy that got the
Really
first
is.
overall pick, he was just like deadpan the whole
Yeah.
time.
No, I at least appreciated that they had Sam Cosentino there, so he could talk about some of the
Mhm.
prospects. Because in the past, a lot of times these draft lotteries, people that they've had on, they get like a couple of minutes of clips and they don't really know the players. So at least there was some information passed out, and that's good.
Yeah. How do you think Macklin Celebrini did? I thought it was a little uh, difficult for him. I understand like last year with Connor Bedard, presumptive first overall pick. So there's really no use in bringing other guys in with him
Right,
to like pretend that he might not be the first
right.
overall pick. And I feel like it's a similar situation. So he's kind of like out there like sink or swim. How do you think he
Yeah,
did?
it's tough. Like he's had a lot of spotlight. He's played in these big international tournaments in Canada and otherwise. I think he did okay, but look, as a guy who once failed a public speaking test in my class, and now you would say, "Well, how did you do that?" I mean, I talk all the time, but I did. I failed it. Um, what I saw from him was just a little like his voice died on him a little bit at the beginning after asking him, "Well, how do you think it turned out?" and stuff. So it was obviously a big moment, and that's something he'll
Right.
get better at over time. But I could recognize it happening because it's happened to me when I was
Yeah.
around his age.
I think he knew what he was gonna say and he had something planned, but then when the moment came, he was
Yes,
like he just froze a
right.
little bit,
It's hard.
which yeah. No,
He's
it's
17.
very
I mean,
hard.
yeah,
So, yeah, I think he did a good job, all
he
things
did.
being equal, but he definitely needs a little bit of
They worked on
practice,
his
which he'll have.
hair. He had a
Yeah,
good outfit.
he did. Yeah, I really liked the white sneakers with the
Yeah.
black suit. I thought that was a good look.
But it's nice. It's nice that, we don't have to see like a gigantic watch on him with like all kinds of diamonds and stuff like with the NFL or the NBA. I like the fact that there's none of that.
Well, there will be much talk about Celebrini as the draft itself approaches. You know, couldn't have a program without one little error, and that's labeling the Sharks fan celebration as from Anaheim. So womp womp.
It's a lesson
That-
that, and I've been through this. It's a lesson that use your brain, not the teleprompter.
yep. Yep. All right. We have some of your mailbag questions to answer. Some of them are draft related, and we will get to them coming up next.
All right, game off. We got to pause here to talk more about Monopoly Go. I know what you're saying. Flag on the play. Already talked about that, but there's just so much good stuff in this game. In Monopoly Go, you can team up with your friends for timed tournaments where you work together to build up each other's boards. The more you win together, the more awesome prizes you unlock. And there's so much to get. Unique stickers you could trade with friends to complete albums for big prizes. Cool new playing pieces to travel the boards with, hilarious emojis for taunting friends when you smash their buildings or heist their vaults. Plus, Monopoly Go feels new and exciting every day with constantly changing tournaments and challenges. A ton include their own unique mini games like digging for treasure or a robot pachinko machine. And there's always new timed events that help you win big, like massive multipliers for everything you win or rent frenzies. There's always something to discover in Monopoly Go. So get off the bench and go download it free on Google Play or the App Store. Game on.
Starting off our mailbag this week, there were some general comments torn between if Joel Farabee's poor late season play was in isolation, for himself, and it was basically on him versus part of this overall team trend of being gassed late in the season. This is based on our discussion on yesterday's show about Farabee. And so which side do we fall on, at least for you, Russ, in terms of what it was?
Yeah, I think he got gassed a little, and I also think he fell down or didn't rise to the talent that he wasn't playing with on the fourth line. It's that simple.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the correct answer is both. I
Yeah,
agree. I don't think it's a one or the other, but I do think, sometimes when teams are struggling, the bad luck kind of rubs off on other people and nobody can seem to get it together. And that's certainly what happened, I think, with the Flyers a little bit in the late season. Brendan has an excellent theoretical question here. Would Sean Couturier benefit from the Giroux treatment? By that, I mean play him on his off wing. In his case, right, it would lighten his defensive load since the center has the biggest load per shift. He could still take faceoffs on 2/3 of the rink, and it would be logical since he's that good and diminish the wear and tear.
yeah, I think it's a great idea. John will never do it.
Yeah, I think so. I think he feels that the team needs centers, and they do. And
Right.
so, you know, he puts Lawton at center, and
He
that's not
wants
an
him to be
ideal.
Sean Couturier of like
Yeah.
5 years ago, and he's just not.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a great idea too. So,
Yeah. Kudos.
Brendan,
Yeah, kudos.
kudos on the idea because I think it's a really, really smart one. Mike wanted to know, hey gang, I get a sense with new ownership in Utah, they'll try to use cap space to get better. Do you think, and can the Flyers try to capitalize on it to gain more assets by trading away anybody from our roster?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably if they wanted to trade a Konechny, maybe they would have some interest and would trade some picks for sure. But I think if the Flyers trade Konechny, they're going to be looking for a player, and I don't think Utah is going to have a player to give. So if you want to just
Yeah.
trade straight for picks, you could trade Scott Lawton, but you're not going to get a number one. Like, you're just not. So I don't really think that trade is there.
Yeah, and I don't think that they're gonna be in a position to take too many just contracts on.
Right.
I think maybe at deadline they'll do it, but I don't know that in this off season they're gonna want to go in that direction, especially because they're trying to appeal to a new fan base that they're not going to want to be a home for dumped salaries, because that is not going to make the Utah fan base interested
Right.
in the team. So I think that's a big part of it as
Yeah.
well. Josh wants to know, is there a chance Boston wins the series so the Flyers Florida pick is higher than we thought?
I mean, there's always a chance. I think just because it's 0-1, it's going to be a long series. So yeah, you could hope for it.
I certainly will be hoping for that, but if there's one thing I've learned is that either way, you cannot trust Boston sports to do anything good for you.
That's very true. That's good advice for everybody out there.
Yeah.
Although I got to say though, with the 86 Mets, they did kind of help out, but mostly you're right.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, our last question, at Brian A. Wilk 285, has a draft related question. And this is a perfect segue to also talk a little bit more about our show tomorrow. I like Cole Hudson. He reminds me of Adam Fox from the Rangers. I'd see if they could get him late first round or early second round. Do you agree with that comparison to Adam Fox?
I think there's a little bit there. Like, Adam Fox wasn't really Adam Fox for a while. Like, I covered him at Harvard, and because I cover out of Princeton, and so I watched him progress every year. The thing that kept coming out for Adam Fox was just that everything got better, got stronger, got smarter, got this, got that. Every year, everything got better. It was a perfect storm. I think some of that can happen for Cole Hudson, and I think Lane can help him. The question is, will he be there at 27? In my mind, I don't think so, but there's a chance. There's a chance. But, again, I don't know every pick, but I'm pretty sure Montreal's got another pick in the first. And
They
would I
do.
be would I be shocked if they take Cole Hudson? No, I would not be shocked.
I think it makes perfect sense if they would. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. We are going to talk more about Cole Hudson and some other draft eligible defensemen on tomorrow's show. So stay tuned for that. As a reminder, we always want to hear from you. So if you've got mailbag questions like we answered today, or a draft eligible prospect you want us to talk about, send them in via Twitter at Locked On Flyers. You can email us at lockedonflyers@gmail.com or comment over on our YouTube channel. I'm Rachel. I'm on Twitter at rmiriam. That's RMIRIAM.
I'm Russ. I'm at Sportsology, SPORTSOLOGY.
Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube that's also available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering top sports stories of the day with local experts of Locked On, plus national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now available in the free Fire TV channels app. Have a great day, everyone.